Hello guys, I hope you're doing great. I know many of you are shocked at the duration of this video. I think this is the longest video I've done ever since I started creating content, and it's because many of you have been asking me to do longer videos, and I decided to give you a treat today, and I will need some feedback on this. Does this work for you, or should I stick to the 8 to 14 minutes that I usually do? Please leave a comment. I'll really appreciate your feedback on this. So it's another planting season and I'm preparing my farms for planting. I'm a bit late with this. The rains are already here and it's always best to do this before it rains when it's very dry. That's when the weeds get to die and then you have a clean farm when you're planting. I've decided to try my hand on the tractor, but it's not as easy as driving a car. This is a manual gear. I don't have a problem driving a manual gear car, but I think the seat is set for a shorter person, so because I'm tall, it was quite hard for me to get comfortable on that chair. So we started plowing yesterday and we did 1 acre yesterday. We are just completing the other acre, then we'll give it a few days before we plant. At least some time for the weeds to dry off before we plant. Unfortunately, it's raining, so I really doubt if the weeds are going to die. Instead, they are going to regrow. So don't be a clumsy farmer like me. Prepare your gardens, prepare your farms early in the dry season so that you don't get into this kind of mess. I always like to work with the cow-driven plows because they give us very fine soil. I know a tractor should be doing the same or even better, but I think because there are just a few tractors serving the entire village, they don't really focus on that. So we don't always get very good services from them, but when you're late, like I'm late with the farm preparation, then we have no choice but to use the tractors because they are fast. We totally rely on rainfall for our farming, so time is of essence here because the rains just started, and if you're left behind, then you expect a not so good harvest. I have a very busy week ahead and I haven't completed every task I wanted to do this week, so I'll leave them to finish the rest of the farm and I'll go to my place because there's also some work I really needed to do there. Maybe I haven't told you this, but every week I write down the things I want to accomplish in that particular week, and I always want to make sure that I do all of them. That way I get to check so many boxes in a month. I just arrived at my home, and in the past weeks I've been really focusing on groundwork. I really enjoy gardening and doing landscaping around my yard, and that's part of what I've been doing in the past week. I always tell you guys that at some point your project could stall for various reasons, but that doesn't mean everything stops. There are a few things that you can always do that don't require a lot of money or time. The greatest beauty of living in the countryside is self-sufficiency. So just over a month ago, I brought in 5 chickens, and last week, I think we collected the first egg, and now more are laying and we are having lots of eggs today. I'm so excited about this. One of my viewers told me to always leave 1 egg just to encourage the chickens to keep laying, so I always leave that one. So I happen to have a very wide compound with a lot of space to work with, and I've been trying to just make it look beautiful and a bit organized. And today I want to dig the area around this little tree that is growing here. It's a rose flower, And I've drawn out the area that I want to dig out. So we are going to have something like a flower island here. I think that makes the compound look more interesting. At least you have something to look at instead of just bare lawns. So it's a new day and we finished digging the island yesterday, and today we just want to turn it into something beautiful. I'm bringing in huge rocks which are going to be part of the island, and I want it to look as natural as possible. I wish I had bigger rocks, but I can get that later. For now, I'm going to work with what I have. I bought a pot from the market which we are also going to use as part of the decoration on the island. It is going to look like a pot that rolled over and poured its contents, and its content is going to be flowers. So we are going to design it in such a way that it looks like a pot that rolled over. So we are going to use the little stones that we have here to raise the soil a little bit, and also to hold the pot in position so it doesn't roll over, like when it's windy or when it rains. We just want to keep it in one position. So we're going to cover these rocks with soil. I told you guys we want it to look as natural as possible. So we're like creating a bed for the pot so it doesn't break or doesn't roll over. I'm looking for and removing the little rocks that could be in the soil so that we just have fine soil and very firm ground to lay the pot. And now we're going to heap more soil on the sides just to make sure the pot is in a good position and looks like something that rolled over and poured its content. And we're going to hold it in that specific position. And in gardening, sometimes we have to step back and see if what's in the mind is same as what's on the ground. I found the right spot and position for it, so now it's only to make sure it's as firm as possible. And sometimes I have to use stones and cover them with soil so that they're not visible from the outside. Otherwise, my idea will look messed up. The bag I have here is manure, which I'm going to use to plant the flowers, and I'm also adding loam soil, which I purchased a while ago, to add to the clay soil so that we have better drainage. There are flowers that don't like waterlogged soils. So I'll be mixing the manure and the loam soil while planting each of the flowers that I'm going to plant on this. Just in case you're wondering where I get such ideas, you can always check them out on Pinterest or even on random places you go to, like hotels and places that have some professional landscaping done. You will always find very good ideas in these areas. So now I'm going to mix the loam soil and the manure, then we will put it inside the pot, because we want the flowers growing from inside. I told you the whole impression is supposed to be a pot pouring its contents, so it has to grow from inside and the flowers will be planted on the outside too, so that it looks like it's something that is pouring from the pot. I think I put more than enough, so I'm going to spread it out so that we have it covering the lower section of the pot. So this is exactly what we are making. Already the soil looks like it's pouring from the pot, so we're just going to plant the flowers and then that's done. I didn't think much about what I'm doing. I just got an idea and started trying it out, but now I realize it is a piece of art. I'm laying a rock on part of the island, and it's going to look like whoever knocked the pot over must have hit their leg on the stone. That's a very normal occurrence here in the village, where people still fetch water using pots. And sometimes the young girls who fetch water from the river slip and fall and break their pots. So I hope you get it. I hope you stick around to the end to see what's going to come out of this. And I hope you love it just as much as I do. It's quite expensive hiring someone to do landscaping where I live, that is in Kenya. I don't know how much it costs wherever you are, but if you get these simple ideas, then you can do them yourself at home. And they are quite relaxing and engaging. So if you are having a boring day, then you could do something like this. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but I bought 2 sheep. One of you here told me animals also get lonely, so never buy one. So I bought 2. The female one was pregnant and we already have a kid. And it's just quite interesting watching them move around the compound. At least some animals to feed on the plenty of grass that we have here. I'm slowly learning their behavior. I'm taking a break to give them water because they've been making some funny noise constantly, and that means they need water. I also realize they get bored after feeding on one area for a long time, so during this break, I also change them so they can feed on new areas of the compound. I'd also love to bring in some goats. The only problem with goats is they love feeding on leaves of trees. I love my trees so much, I wouldn't want to lose them. So I'm still thinking about that because I wouldn't want to lock them up also. I want them to just move around freely because there's a lot of grass here. In future, we could have cows and even goats. My yard is so huge, I'd just love to see animals moving around all over the place. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to protect my trees while I have all these animals I wish to have. To be honest, they make me look forward to coming here because it feels like home. I officially started cooking in my home the other day, so these days I just carry food and cook here whenever I'm coming to spend the day here. And I brought some green bananas with me which I want to cook for lunch today before I proceed with gardening work I had started. Those flowers must be planted on the island today. The voice in the background is my farmhand. He's taking a rest too. He's been doing a lot of work cutting the grass around the compound. And now I'm gonna boil some bananas for us, and then we will continue with the rest of the work in the afternoon. I always like to add a little salt to my green bananas when boiling. It gives them a really nice taste, but that's optional. They still taste great without the salt. So I'm gonna head back and complete the task that I started while the bananas cook. And we will be back to share the meal when it's ready. So we're going to wet the soil inside and outside the pot before we plant the flowers. You remember I'd put dry soil, and our plants need moisture. I don't know the name of the flower I'm planting, but you will see it when it's grown. But I had put the seeds in a bed and they are quite small, but I hope they are going to grow well. What I know is it has some tiny, beautiful white flowers. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant different flowers in this island. I have flowering and non-flowering plants here. I've mentioned this before, but I'd love to remind you that when planting on an island like this, then you have to raise the soil first and then have the taller plants either at the topmost areas of the island and the shorter flowers towards the edge. That way we get to see the beauty of all the plants on the island. If the smaller ones, the shorter ones are at the inside, then they will not be visible from outside. So the first plant here is a fern, and I think ferns look nice next to stones. They love to grow in near the rivers, and I think just being between the stone and the pot makes it look very nice and natural there. I'm planting flowers of different colors too. We have red flowers here, we have orange, we have yellow, white, they're just pink. There are just so many different colors of flowers here, and when these things are fully grown, guys, it is going to be so beautiful. I'm planting them with manure, and I hope this is going to make them grow very fast. Always manure speeds up growth. Most of the flowers you see me planting today have been here. I usually bring flowers, plant them temporarily in containers or on some grounds, and then when I'm ready to plant them where I want them to be, then I just uproot and put it where I want it to be. I'm looking at the shaded area behind my island, and I think it needs a bench. So I imagine sitting, enjoying my evening cup of coffee there with my flowers right in front of me. What do you think about that, guys? Some of the flowers I'm planting are quite small and you may not be able to see their beauty right now, but let's give this a month or two, then you will see exactly what I'm doing here. I have also distributed them in such a way that we don't have flowers with the same color being in one place, so that we have the colors distributed throughout the flower island. I didn't forget to carry the snake plant. This one repels snakes, so it's always important to put it in places like this where we are going to have sort of shrubs where snakes could hide. The snake plant looks so much like a snake, so I don't know why the snakes tend to fear it or run away from it. It doesn't have a smell, but it is a great addition to your gardens because it will keep away the snakes. Always remember to loosen the soil in the garden. It helps plants to grow faster and find a root for their root system, and also makes the garden look neat. That's a lot of talking already. Sit back and enjoy the video. Gi piny maliet ni. Adhi modho gi pi. Ok, ot ema ng'ich.
No. Kendo dudhi. Bed king'ena dhi medie na ji matin mar giti. Mondo imed mastermind kabila dugi tedo ka clearance ise confirm.
As I plant flowers, I also make additions to my vegetable garden. Every day I bring something new to the garden, and today I'm planting tomatoes. We are still just testing everything, every vegetable that we could grow. So let's plant tomatoes and see how they will do, and that will help us know the things we can plant on this soil. So today is the day we are planting our farms. We are planting maize and beans. And this is the farm we were plowing at the beginning of the video. So I have help from neighbors. And you can see the weeds are already growing. I told you it's not always good to plow during the rainy season. But we are going to save this by weeding very quickly after planting. I think just 3 weeks after planting, we are going to do our weeding, just so we get a good harvest out of this. Otherwise, if we just leave it like this, then there'll be no harvest, or there'll be a very poor harvest. In this region, we mainly grow maize, beans, potatoes, and this particular piece of land had sweet potatoes in the previous season. So we do that rotation just to kill the pests from other crops and to ensure soil fertility. We use a rope like this to get our lines straight. We're still very manual in most of our farm activities. Other than plowing that we use tractors or ox-driven plows, every other work in the farm is done by manual labor. We still save our seeds from the previous seasons for replanting in the new seasons. This is to ensure we have a continuous supply of organic food. There's always that relief one gets when their farms are planted and you're just waiting to weed. So it's been a very busy week for me, but I am glad I'm done with this. So I'll only be waiting 15 days for the seeds to grow, and then we do the weeding. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. It's been amazing hanging out with you. Please remember to leave a comment and let me know how you feel about the duration of this video. For now, it's bye-bye. I'll see you in the next.